Good morning, everyone. This is T. Dubey. And before I begin talking anything about today's class, I would ask you to just listen something very attentively. There is a crow sitting on a tree beside the window where I am recording. And you can listen to his sound. Earlier I thought that I should delete the sound of this competitor, crow. But finally I thought that if he is willing to send out his music to my listeners, to my students, so let him give some space. After all, he and I both belong to the same earth, so he should also be given some space. And he is adamant on getting his voice recorded, so why not give some space to him also. Now, before I move ahead, let me tell you what we are going to discuss in today's class. As usual, this lecture has been organized in 6 steps. The first one that we are going to discuss the topic Poets and Pancakes first. Then we will be discussing something about the author. After this discussion, we will be going on to the theme or central idea of the chapter. And then, as we have been doing the class, the story will be discussed in detail, followed by a summary, and then this story, Poets and Pancakes, would be analyzed by me. Now, let us talk about the title of the story, Poets and Pancakes. And in order to help you understand the significance, or you can say the meaning of this title, Poets and Pancakes, you will have to look at my face today. So if you can see through your camera, I do not want you to touch it. No. So you can feel that my skin is glowing today. My skin is glowing today. Now you may ask me a question. Why, sir? Why is your skin glowing today? So I tell you the secret of this glow. Though it is not throwing light like the headlights of a car, but it's glowing. The reason for this glow, this shine, is a lot of pancakes. Now you will ask me, sir, what is pancakes? My work is done. Look at the first paragraph of your book and try to find out the meaning of this word. Meanwhile, so this is the meaning of the pancake. And now let us talk about the author of this story, Asokamitran. Look at the spelling, Asokamitran. So its pronunciation should also be Asokamitran, not Ashoka, not Sha, it should be Sa. Asokamitran. So have a look at the first paragraph and you can understand more about him. Asokamitran was born on 22nd September 1931 and died on 23rd March 2017. So you can understand this span of his life. And Asokamitran is the pen name of Jagdish Thyagarajan. Now, who was Jagdish? Jagdish. We should not say Jagadisha, though it is a South Indian name. Jagdish Thyagarajan. So, Jagdish Thyagarajan was an Indian writer regarded as one of the most influential figures in post-independent Tamil literature. This has to be kept in mind by you. Now, he began his prolific literary career with a prize-winning play. Now, what do you mean by the term prolific career? So, you must use such kind of phrases in your answer, in your sentences. A prolific writer, a prolific career is one that produces a lot of creative works, like novels, like stories, like poems. So such a writer, such an author who produces a lot of works is called a prolific author or a prolific writer. So with the prize-winning play, Unbin Parisu. So he began his career with this play, Unbin Parisu, and went on to author more than 200 short stories, you can see, and a dozen novellas and novels. Now what is novellas? A novella is a short novel. It is not a novel as lengthy or long as a novel should be. So a short form of novel is called novella. A distinguished essayist and critic, he was the editor of literary journal Kanayazi. So he was an editor of this journal, literary journal Kanayazi. Now he has written over 200 short stories. This is what I was talking about. 9 novels and some 50 novellas besides other prose writings. Most of his works have also been translated into English and other Indian languages, including Hindi, Malayalam and Telugu. Now let us discuss the second part of his career. Have a look at this part. Throughout his career, Asoka Mitran received numerous awards and accolades. Accolades means appreciations, praise, you can say, recognition for his literary achievements, including the Sahitya Academy Award. So he has been honored with the Sahitya Academy Award also, which is one of India's most prestigious literary honors. You must have heard about Sahitya Academy. It is presented to the author for his or her distinguished work in literature. His ability to capture the essence of everyday life, this is the real assessment, that means as an observer. So his ability to capture the essence of everyday life and present it in a relatable and thought-provoking manner endeared him to readers both in India and abroad. So this is Asoka Mitran's speciality, or you can say special quality, that he captures the essence of everyday life, what happens in our day-to-day life, and present it in a relatable manner and inspires us to think over it. And this quality of Asoka Mitran makes popular, makes unique, or makes dear to his readers, both in India and abroad. So this is something about Asoka Mitran, and some more information has been given about him in your book under the title Poets and Pancakes. You can add that information also to this information that I have given you here in my class. Now let us talk about the central idea. So have a look at the central idea. What is Poets and Pancakes talking about? The story Poets and Pancakes revolves around the author's experiences working at Gemini Studios in Madras. So this highlighted part of the sentence is giving you the idea what the story is going to be about. So this story is going to talk about author's personal experiences when he was working at Gemini Studio. Gemini Studio was a very popular, very famous studio when India became free and film started becoming people's part of life. So Gemini Studio produced a number of Tamil, Telugu and Hindi cinemas. It was one of the most famous studios in the country. So, and he was working there. Asoka Mitran was working there not doing a very significant work, we will come to know in the story, and the interactions with various individuals. What is the author going to describe? The author describes the diverse cast of characters at the studio, from makeup artists to actors, and provides insight into the hierarchical structure within the makeup department. So in the story that we are going to discuss, the author Asoka Mitran is going to provide us what kind of people used to work there. The makeup artists, the actors, the poets, the actors, actresses, and all the literary geniuses that used to work at the Gemini studio when he was working over there. And there was a hierarchy, there was an organization of layer of, you can say, official, how it was organized. So he is going to talk about that in this play. Now, one key thing in the story is a clash of cultures. Very, very important sentence. It will help you write exam perfect answers. If you write such kind of phrases in your answer, your evaluator thinks that you have deep knowledge of the story and you know how to present the keywords in your answer. So one key theme in the story is a clash of cultures and backgrounds among studio's staff, with individuals from different regions of India working together in the early days of the Indian film industry. So one key thing that we are going to see in this story is clash of cultures. How cultures existing in South Indian states, North Indian state, West Bengal, Odisha, Maharashtra. So how people used to work over there, bringing diversity in culture. Now, look at this paragraph. The story highlights the disconnect between the world of English literature and the world of Indian cinema. It portrays the challenges and uncertainties faced by individuals pursuing careers in the film industry. Let me explain this line. So when we are going to discuss the story in detail, we will come to see how people who used to go to the Gemini studios were frustrated, were disillusioned, because they did not get the right kind of opportunities, and when they did not find the right kind of opportunities, they felt frustrated, they felt dejected, they felt ignominy, they felt depression. So this story is also talking about challenges and uncertainties of those individuals who were there pursuing career in the film industry. As it usually happens, you must have you must have heard a lot of stories of the youth who flock to Mumbai in hope of becoming some actor or actresses or writer or screenwriter or anchor, but they end up doing nothing. So this story is also going to talk about such kind of people. Now the last paragraph of this part. Ultimately, the central idea of the story is the collision of different worlds, cultures and aspirations within Gemini Studios. Very, very important paragraph. Very, very important paragraph. You must memorize it. And how these interactions shape the author's perception of art, literature and life in a rapidly changing India. So at the end of this story, we will come to know that the Gemini studio was not simply studio. It was a place where different cultures, different worlds, different aspirations, different hopes clash with each other. And these interactions of cultures, aspirations, hopes shape or influence Ashokamitran's perception, his thoughts, his outlook towards art, literature and life in a fast changing India of that time. So this part of the central idea is very, very important for you and keep it in mind. Now let us move on to understanding the story in detail. Poets and Pancakes, understanding the story in detail. So this presentation will give you how the story is going to open. Introduction to Gemini Studios. The story opens with an introduction to Gemini Studios. What was Gemini Studio? It was a film production company in Madras. So from this point we come to know what Gemini Studios was. It was a film producing company in Madras. Now the author here, Ashokamitran, describes how makeup material. Now remember when I was talking about the secret of the glow of my skin, I told that my skin is glowing today because I have applied a lot of pancake, and I told you to find out the meaning of the word pancake. So what was pancake? And this point is also hinting us that it was bought in truckloads by Gemini Studios. So till now also we do not understand the meaning of the word pancake. And there is a question that I have said just after this paragraph, what you mean by pancake. Now, mention of famous personalities like Greta Garbo, Vajanti Mala using pancake. Now you must be, understanding, predicting what this pancake is, what this pancake is not is, what this pancake was, that the poet has used this word in the title. Finally, still I want you to keep guessing so that before I go on to the before I go on to the meaning of this particular word, by this time you should remain, guessing what I am going to tell you or what the meaning of this word is going to be. Now the makeup department is located in a building believed to have been Robert Clive's stable. So these things, the first paragraph or the starting part of the story is going to talk about what pancake was and who were the actors and actresses that applied this pancake. Then where was this Gemini Studio or the makeup department set up, all the things that have been mentioned in the presentation are here. So you look at the first paragraph of your story. Pancake was a brand name of the makeup material that Gemini Studios brought in truckloads. Right, so this is the answer to the question that I asked. So pancake was the brand name of the makeup material that Gemini Studios brought in truckloads. A lot of pancakes was brought by the Gemini Studios then. And then these Greta Garbo, Miss Gauhar and Vajanti Mala, Rati Agnihotri, these are the names of the actors, people who used to use that pancake. Right. Then where was it located? This line is talking about here. This paragraph is talking about the makeup department of the Gemini Studios, which was in the upstairs of the building that was believed to have been Robert Clive's stables. I think you must have heard about Robert Clive's, who Robert Clive was. And if you haven't heard, you read Battle of Buxar, which was fought in the year 1764. So Robert Clive was an English officer, rather he took part in the Battle of Buxar and defeated, who was that? I forget the name of that, Sirajuddaula or Sirajuddaula. Right. So if I am going wrong, this side. Just you can verify the answer. So this paragraph is talking about two things. Now here is a question that I have provided. This is how you should. So what was pancake? And what does the author intend to suggest by associating names of some film actors with pancake? I have given you answer to the question to show you how you should write your answer in order not only to score 100% marks in your exam, but also remember, because you are a student of standard 12, soon after your school examination you will be in job market. So if you develop this skill of reading, writing and speaking and practice the content or present yourself in the way I am showing, it will take hardly 6 or 7 months for you to become a job ready candidate. So my main purpose to provide each and everything is to help you in shaping your career. Now let us move on to the second slide. So description of the makeup department. So in this part, the author vividly describes the makeup room, which resembles a hair cutting salon. Remember this phrase, with incandescent lights and large mirrors. I have written the meaning of the word incandescent lights. You can see here. If you do not understand the meaning of the word incandescent lights, so I have written the meaning of this word. The makeup department is staffed by individuals from various regions and backgrounds, reflecting early national integration. This question is coming in your mock test final examination. I have set this question just after this paragraph. The makeup artist's ability to transform actors into characters using truckloads of makeup is highlighted. So these three things are discussed in the coming paragraphs. It is talking about the makeup room, how it looked like. It resembled, or it looked like, a hair cutting salon. You must have gone to a salon, hair cutting salon, and you will find that you are sitting in a mirror room where you will find mirrors, set up from all angles, and then lights also from the ceilings or from all around. So these are incandescent lights. Then it's talking about what people, the coming paragraphs are talking about different types of people who used to work in the makeup department and how they promoted national integration. Now what do you mean by national integration? And how the makeup artists who used to work at the Gemini studio used to transform actors, actresses in a way, how they used to make them presentable, or you can say looking handsome, looking beautiful, even though they were not like that. So all these things have been described, and now you can go slow, you can pause the video and study the story in detail, and wherever I have felt that the word or phrases will create any problem in your understanding, I have given the meanings of all those phrases in bold so that you may not have any problem in understanding. And this is the question that will be asked based on this part of the story. Write it down on a notebook so that you can prepare well for your examination. Now after this, let us move on to the third presentation, hierarchy in the makeup department. So this part of the story is talking about the author explains the strict hierarchy in the makeup department, where different artists are responsible for different actors' appearances. So the makeup department of the Gemini studio was very, very important, and a strict hierarchy was maintained. What do you mean by strict hierarchy? The word strict hierarchy means a system of ranking or organizing individuals within the makeup department based on their roles and responsibilities. So on the based on their roles and responsibilities, a strict hierarchy was maintained in the makeup department. Asokamitran has described whose responsibility was to do makeup of role actors or actresses, then villains, then comedians, then crowd. So this is what he has described in this part of the story. The office boy, again, he is introducing a new character. The office boy's role in preparing crowd players for makeup is introduced, along with his aspiration to be star or a writer. So before this slide, before this topic, we were discussing under the central idea that Asokamitran has also observed people's frustrations, people's hopes, people's ambitions, people's desire to become an actor or actress, or you can say a director or script writer. So he is describing the story of an office boy, and this office boy had joined the Gemini studio hoping or thinking that one day he would become star writer or say actor, but he could not achieve, he could not materialize his dream, and how he was frustrated. And if he was frustrated, whom did he think responsible for his frustration, for his dejection? So this part of the story is talking about all these. So you go slow, read this part of the story, and then here also the author is talking about himself that he used to work in a cubicle. So what do you mean by the word cubicle? The word cubicle is a small partitioned workplace within an office or other environment. It typically consists of walls or partitions on 2 or more sides, providing a semi-private area for an individual to work. French windows. So though these are not very important part, but of course these words are good. Now this is a question that can be asked from this part of the story. You pause the video and then write down, and if you practice like this, hope very soon you can become, a good writer, and you will come to know how to write best of the best answer. Because listen students, so far as the question paper is concerned, it remains same for all the students sitting for this examination all over India. So what makes you different is your answer. So your answer must be written using the keywords, it must be to the point, and above all, your answer must be free from spelling mistakes and grammar mistakes. So this is how you should write your answer. Moving on to the next part of the story. This part of the story is talking about this. Have a look. Frustration and resentment and introduction of Kothamangalam Subbu. Now, in the previous part of this story, we were talking about the office boy. The office boy had joined the Gemini studio in hope of becoming star actor, or you can say writer. But he could not achieve his ambition. And he was not the only person. There was a host of such people. There was a constellation, a group of such people who could not materialize their aims of becoming star, or you can say director or actor or screenwriter. So if you are unable to make your dream come true, so frustration, resentment, dejection, disillusionment, no, disillusionment is not a proper word to use here. So such kind of feelings are bound to emerge. And whosoever was failure in realizing his or her dream, they thought that the reason for their failure, for their resentment, for their frustration was only one person. And this person was this man. You can Google his image, Kothamangalam Subbu. He was not an ordinary person. He was also a great writer. He was a director. He also tried his hand at becoming actor. So he was a versatile talent. Kothamangalam Subbu. Now, let us discuss the points that are given under this heading. The author describes his own work situation in a cubicle. I have already described in the previous part of this paragraph. And how he was often visited by people who wanted to give him something to do. So, in the introductory part of your book, let me show the introductory part of your book, if I can show you, and if that is available. Yeah. So the introductory part of your book is this, the introduction of the author. It's written here. So what was Asoka Mitran's work at Gemini Studio? So the duty of Asoka Mitran in Gemini Studio was this part, the part that I have highlighted. Read it. The duty of Asoka Mitran in Gemini Studios was to cut out newspaper clippings on a wide variety of subjects and store them in files. So he was not a very high-ranking official over there, Asoka Mitran. His work was simply to cut out newspaper clippings from different newspapers and arrange them in a file. So all the staff or his colleagues thought that he wasn't doing great job. He was just passing his time. So whosoever thought that he was just passing his time, they used to enter his cubicle and deliver long lecture on how he was wasting his time and how the speaker was a great talent which was going west. Right? So now this is the point. The author describes his own situation in a cubicle and how he was often visited by people who wanted to give him something to do. The boy, here we are talking about the office boy, from the makeup department becomes a recurring character and venting his frustration and resentment. So use this phrase in your answer, venting his frustration and resentment. Venting, expressing. So when you express your resentment, your frustration, you vent it. Right, so strong word. Towards Kothamangalam Subbu. So he thought, this office boy thought that this Kothamangalam Subbu was responsible for his frustration, for his resentment. Right. And then Kothamangalam Subbu's background has been described over here and career introduced, highlighting his role as a chief creative figure at Gemini Studio. Kothamangalam Subbu, one question is bound to come related to Kothamangalam Subbu. So his multifaceted talents, including acting or writing, are also emphasized. So in this part of the story, Asoka Mitran has included a number of subtopics, and these subtopics are these. Now, if you like, not like, rather you should, you pause the video wherever you like and must keep the important points that I have given in bold. So here pause it, or you can use your own book also, and this is the question that can be asked based on this part of the story. Now let us move ahead in the story. Next, the story department, its disbanding, presence of poets. So this part of the story department is mentioned, including a lawyer who is informally known as the legal advisor. So in this part of the story, we are going to talk about a lawyer. An incident involving the legal advisor and a temperamental actress is also described. So you will read about this lawyer and how he spoiled the career of an actress by recording her voice. Then the author narrates the sudden decision to disband the story department, causing confusion and uncertainty among its members. So this part of the story is also talking about how the story department of the Gemini studio was disbanded. Disbanded means it was finished off, it was ended, it was abolished. And famous poets like S.D.S. Yogiyar, Sangu Subramaniam, Krishna Sastri and Harindranath Chattopadhyay used to visit these Gemini studios and were frequent visitors. The studio is noted for its excellent mess, which is gathering place for discussions during the era of prohibition. So this Gemini studio used to have a mess that used to provide excellent coffee. Asoka Mitran has described this also. And that mess where they used to get coffee used to be their favorite place for sitting and discussing different things. So this part will talk about that part. So you stop the video wherever you feel you need detail, because I have included the entire story. And this underlying part is very, very important. There is a question here. Check. Did the Gemini studio staff hold any particular political ideologies? Give reasons in support of your answer. In some websites you will find no is written, but on the basis of the content we can say yes, the Gemini studios staff appear to hold conservative and anti-communist political ideologies. I thought before including this answer, but when I found that yes, it is relevant and it supports the answer, supports the, gives substantial points, so I have given these points, right? You can use it. Moving on to moral rearmament visit. So this part of the story is talking about the author describes the visit of Frank Buchman's moral rearmament army group, which stages plays at Gemini Studios. So in this part of the story, we will be talking about visit of MRA, moral rearmament army. And when they had visited the Gemini Studio, they staged two plays. And those two plays greatly impacted here. The plays had great impact on Tamil drama community, and the city of Madras is highlighted. So here what were those plays? And here I have given a brief introduction to who Frank Buchman was, so that you can, make your notes complete if you want to, because this is very, very dense chapter, very, very dense. And pause the video wherever you like. And this is the question: how did Frank Buchman's rearmament army influence the Tamil drama community? In what way had Mr. Vasan play into their hands? So this is an idiom. Play into their hands or play into someone's hand means you do or you make it easier for someone to do their work, but you do not get any advantage, or you are fooled in a way, you can say. So this is the meaning of this sentence. Mr. Vasan's actions or decisions inadvertently means unintentionally, benefited or aligned with the objectives of Frank Buchman's moral rearmament army. It suggests that Mr. Vasan's actions unintentionally supported or advanced the interests or goals of the MRA. So this is the meaning of that idiom that I was talking about. And this is the question that may be asked in your exam. Then the story is talking about visit of another English poet. The author mentions the arrival of an English poet or initially it was not confirmed whether he was a poet or an editor from England, causing curiosity and speculation. Speculation means guess or prediction among Gemini Studios staff. And the poet later on is identified as Stephen Spender. Stephen Spender. So the entire part of the story from here will talk about Stephen Spender's visit, how his visit remained a mystery, and how did Asokamitran himself went to establish his identity, went on to establish. So this is a question that can be asked from this part of the story. Please pause it, read the question carefully, and then Stephen Spender's visit that I was talking about. The poet editors arrive at Gemini Studio is described with the boss, here boss refers to S.S. Vasan, giving a reception and reading a speech. The poet delivers a speech that leaves the audience baffled due to language barriers and unfamiliarity with his topic. So when Stephen Spender delivers his lecture, his English was so advanced and his pronunciation must have been very difficult for the audience listener of the studio to understand. Stephen Spender's departure from the studio marks the end of the visit, leaving everyone perplexed about his purpose there. Perplexed means confused. So this part of the story is talking about Stephen Spender's visit, and this is the detail of the story. You can pause, read, or read only the important points wherever you like. And here I have given the explanation of 2 sentences because they are likely to be asked in your final examination, and their meaning. And there is a question based on the same point. How does the author intend, what does the author intend to suggest when he says prose writing is not and cannot be the true pursuit of a genius? I have given this question taking the point from the beginning of the paragraph that is mentioned, and answer is also given. Now, revelation about Stephen Spender. So initially when Stephen Spender comes to the Gemini Studio, his visit remains a mystery, and later on the author discovers a book called The God That Felt, which includes essays by Stephen Spender and others about their disillusionment with communism. Now, what does this disillusionment with communism mean? It means they became unhappy with this political ideology called communism, and because they became unhappy, so they wanted to separate themselves from that political ideology. So this separation or a renunciation of faith is called disillusionment. In simpler word, if you are following some faith or you belong to a particular political ideology and you do not feel that that particular ideology, I do not want to take the name of any party. Suppose you are a supporter of X political party, and you think later on that the ideology or the thoughts, the principles of that political party is not, is not favorable, is not likable to you. You do not find it acceptable. Then that divorce, that unhappiness because of that ideology is called disillusionment. This revelation sheds light on the reasons for Stephen Spender's visit to Gemini Studio. And then towards the end we get, and please highlight read everything carefully. This is a question that can be asked here. Reflection on the encounter. The author reflects on means thinks deeply on the significance of discovering Stephen Spender's connection to the studio and the theme of disillusionment. So this is the discussion of the story, and before we begin the summary part, let us have a little break for 2-3 seconds, or not 2-3 seconds, that is too little, 30 seconds, then we will begin. Now, let us recap the entire story in this summary. Poets and Pancakes. So you keep looking at the screen, but think about all the sequence of events or whatever people, places, things that have been described by Ashoka Mitran from beginning to the end of the story. Think about the story, because thinking is more important than simply reading and explaining something. Because when you go to take your examination, you have to keep all the memories of a chapter in your mind. And that can happen, your memory can be strengthened only by thinking, not simply reading and listening. So when the story begins, we have seen the starting part of the story is talking about pancake, what pancake was or used to be. Then he talks about actors and actresses that used to apply them. After that, he goes on to talk about where makeup department was situated or located. Then what makeup department was, who were the people working over there, how they used to promote national integration, then how a strict hierarchy used to be maintained in the makeup department. Then we have seen the story of the office boy, his frustration, his ignominies, his woes, all used to be directed towards one person, and that one person was Kothamangalam Subbu. And then when the story of Subbu begins, then that part of the story is talking about Subbu's behavior, his nature, his character, his talent. Then again the story talks about the legal advisor. After that we are talking about arrival of MRA, then Stephen Spender, and towards the end we see how he was established, how his identity was established. So in short, you should learn how to make a mind map to keep the stories in your mind. And now, by and large, I have given you the picture of the story, so you will be understanding the summary very easily. Look at the screen, please. The story is a memoir. The word is pronounced memoir. What does this word mean, memoir? Memoir means it refers to a type of autobiographical writing that focuses on author's personal experiences, memories, and reflections from a specific period in his life. So this is the meaning of the word memoir. Author's experiences working at Gemini Studios. This story, it explores the diverse and colorful characters within the studio, as well as their interactions and relationships. So in a nutshell, we can say this is what it is talking about. Then the second paragraph, one prominent theme is a clash of cultures that I have already discussed under theme and central idea. This is very, very important. One prominent theme is a clash of cultures and backgrounds among the studio's staff, many of whom come from different regions of India. Maharashtra, Tamil, West Bengal, Odisha, local people. So, same thing has been reiterated over here. The story captures the early days of the Indian film industry, where individuals from various backgrounds and regions work together. It highlights the challenges and uncertainties faced by those pursuing careers in the film world. I think I have already explained all these points, so there is no need to repeat myself. Now, this is again I have discussed. The author introduces Kothamangalam Subbu, a prominent figure at Gemini Studio who excelled in various creative roles. One question is bound to be asked based on Kothamangalam Subbu, so keep it in mind, including acting and writing. Subbu's loyalty to the studio and his ability to creatively contribute to film production are also highlighted. So what kind of person he was? What was his nature like? He was a very generous, or you can say helping nature kind of person, but his nature used to be viewed as that of a sycophant. So people working at the Gemini Studio used to think that he was a great butler of the owner of the studio, who was S.S. Vasan. And it is because of this close relation to Mr. Vasan, the Gemini staff used to think that he was a great sycophant of Vasan. And it is because of this adulating nature, sycophantic nature, that he has risen to the status, to the stature where he is. Right. The story also touches on the disbanding of the story department I have already discussed, which included a lawyer who was informally known as the legal advisor. The author reflects on the impact of this decision and its consequences. We have already discussed. Now moving on to these creative people. Poets like S.G.S. Yogiyar, Sambhu Subramanyam, Krishna Sastri and Harindranath Chattopadhyay are described as frequent visitors to Gemini Studios, adding a literary and artistic dimension to the studio's environment. Hope it's a kind of revision. Then the story delves into the visit of Frank Buchman's Moral Rearmament Army (MRA) group, which staged plays at the Gemini Studios. This visit left a lasting impact on the Tamil drama community and the visit of Madras, city of Madras. The narrative, the word narrative means story. So the narrative culminates, means concludes, in the arrival of English poet or editor Stephen Spender, whose visit remains a mystery to the studio staff. The story concludes with the author's discovery of a book, and that book was The God That Felt. And this book, The God That Felt, contains essays by Stephen Spender and 6 other contributors. And one of the contributors, let me tell you, was who? You must be knowing his name. The author of Indigo, chapter number 5. Do you remember his name? Louis Fisher. Louis Fisher had also contributed an essay to this book, The God That Felt. The God That Felt is actually a collection of essays written by 7 distinguished writers who have expressed their disillusionment, means divorce, or other word you can say, in simple word you can say their unhappiness with the political ideology communism, about their disillusionment with communism, already given here. Finding Stephen Spender's essay clarified why he visited the studio. It showed he had lost faith in communism, which was a key topic during his visit, and his own experiences with disillusionment related to this theme. Now, in summary, what we can say is this. The story provides a rich and evocative portrayal of life. Portrayal comes from the word portray. Portray means to describe someone or something using words. So that is called portrayal. The story provides a rich and evocatives that evokes memories or emotions, called evocative. Portrayal of life and culture within Gemini Studios, offering insights into the film industry's early days and the unexpected encounters that shape the author's perspective on art, literature, and life. So hope this is enough for you to understand the entire story. Now this part, Poets and Pancakes analysis, is for teachers, how they can analyze short stories by using essential elements. It will help you a lot. What is the plot of this story? The plot of Poets and Pancakes revolves around the daily life and experiences of the author and his colleagues at Gemini Studios. What was Gemini Studio? A film making or film producing studio located in Madras. So this is plot. What happens about the sequence of events? The story follows a series of events and anecdotes. Anecdotes are real stories about real place, real people. So here Asoka Mitran has described stories of real people, not imaginary people. He describes actors, actresses, Kothamangalam Subbu, and all these are real people, not imaginary people or imaginary characters, including the description of the makeup department, the hierarchy within it, the visit of the moral rearmament army group, the mysterious visit of English poet Stephen Spender, and the revelation about Stephen Spender's background. So these are the events that make up the plot of the story. Setting. The story is primarily set in Gemini Studios, a film production studio in Madras, India. Specific locations within the studio, such as the makeup room, the story department, the maze, are described in detail. Characters. Let us talk about characters. The main character is the author. He's the main character, who also serves as the narrator of the story. He provides insights into the various individuals working at Gemini Studios, and other characters that you can talk about are Kothamangalam Subbu, then the office boy, and all the poets who used to visit the Gemini Studio. Themes, cultural diversity. This is very, very important. This part is very, very. So throughout the story highlights the diverse backgrounds of the individuals working at Gemini Studios, showcasing early instances of national integration and cultural diversity in the film industry. Frustration and ambition is also one of the themes. The narrative explores the frustration and unfulfilled ambitions of certain characters, particularly the office boy in the makeup department, and his aspirations to become a star or writer. Style and tone. The story is written in a conversational, anecdotal style, with the author sharing personal observations and experiences. And the tone is often humorous and satirical, as the author provides witty commentary on the characters and events of Gemini Studio. So from time to time, Asoka Mitran has used a lot of humor in describing his own position, in describing the office boy, in describing the place. Pancake makeup is used symbolically to represent the transformative power of the film industry and the role of makeup artists in creating characters on screen. The visit of the MRA group symbolizes the influence of the international movements and ideologies in the cultural landscape of Madras. Conflict. The story does not have any central conflict in the traditional sense, because it is actually memoir of Asoka Mitran. It doesn't contain any conflict. The story does not provide a traditional resolution or conclusion. It ends with a revelation about Stephen Spender's background, leaving readers with a sense of curiosity and intrigue. So he has shown how he happened to establish Stephen Spender's identity. That was the conclusion. Poets and Pancakes offers a commentary on the film industry, cultural diversity, ambition, and the unexpected intersections of different worlds. It suggests that life in a film studio can be both mundane, means boring, monotonous, and filled both. So those whose dreams, ambitions, and aspirations are materialized or become real, they are filmed. They find that film industry is actually a hot and happening industry, but those whose dreams and aspirations are shattered, they feel that it's a mundane place with unexpected encounters that challenge preconceived notions. So this is the analysis of this story, Poets and Pancakes. Hope you must have enjoyed, and I have created practice sets. If you solve my practice questions, I do not think that you will be missing any question in your examination. And if you really want to succeed in your career, you must start writing and speaking and presenting things. So it's all about Poets and Pancakes.